All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to our second stream of today. We are on Microsoft Microsoft Flight Simulator. Can't talk again. Anyway, we're on the lovely Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are back in the 172 for the time being, going from Jack Brooks Regional Airport to Texas Gulf Coast Regional. So that is our flight path. IFR, low altitude. Should be going no higher than 8,000 feet. Good afternoon, Mick. And should take just over an hour to get there. We will land, ask for parking spot, and we will go from there. We're not going to change the weather, like I talked about earlier on Train Sim World 2. So if you didn't watch that, we're not going to change the weather. We're just going to leave everything as is, and we will put in our altimeter readings so that we maintain the correct altitude and all that. Now,
Jefferson County Tower Cessna 237 at runway 16 ready for departure to Kilo Lima Bravo X-ray. Cessna 237 altimeter 29.9er 41081 at 18. Cleared for takeoff runway 16. Cleared for takeoff runway 16 Cessna 237.
Well, this is going to be an interesting ride. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. So let's get our altitude put in first before we take our parking brake off. Thunderstorms. So this is going to be an interesting flight. Let's see how we do. So we've got our autopilot there, our nav mode. So as soon as we get airborne, we will prepare to engage the oops, let's see, make sure, yeah, that's all we got to change. Alright, let's get airborne. Just kind of look around here, look at this weather. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a bumpy one, Mick. Hold on to your latte. How will we fare in the inclement weather? Wow, immediately, as soon as we take off, it's immediately bumpy. Alright, let's get the autopilot on, nav mode on. It's taken over. There we go. Lining right up immediately for our first. Hello again, Daniel. How are you? So, as I was saying before we took off, I did tinker around with the Dreamliner. I took off from San Francisco going towards Seattle. Now, I got airborne and I was on my way to Seattle.
Jefferson County departure on 121.3. Good day. 121.3 Cessna 237. Jefferson County departure Cessna 237 is at 700 feet climbing 8,000 feet.
Cessna 237 Jefferson County departure altimeter 29er tree. Continue to Sierra Bravo, India as planned.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that. I want to get out of those clouds. Looks dangerous. Well, we're gonna. I think once we get up to about 8,000 feet, we're gonna be okay. We may not get out of the clouds though. We'll see how we fare. train mode should be on, so we should... Okay, it's going to track a little bit. Ooh, that was a nice lightning flash. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, I got airborne, it was tracking very nicely, so I saved it. Now I don't know if by saving it, it saves me where I was in the flight, where if I have to take off all over again. Ooh, that was a nice lightning strike right there. You should hear the thunder here in a moment. So we'll see how that goes. Now, from my understanding, most pilots, if it's inclement weather, this is their preferred way of flying is by IFR, because you can rely, as long as your instruments don't fail, you can rely on your, you can navigate, the systems will get you to your destination. We're just cooking along here. We might get a little bit above the clouds. We're climbing through some clouds. It's very low storm system. Oh, there we go. A little bit over the clouds now. Nick may get his wish. Oh, look at that storm pattern right there. That is just... Well, there you are, Mick. You feel a little bit better now? Oh, wait, we're going to fly through some more. This is going to remind me a lot of that flight into Syracuse a few months ago, where it was just like we're flying either through or supposedly the edge of the storm, as they like to call it. So, looks like we're kind of getting over the storm. Little bumpy. Look at that. The plane's moving around a bit here. This is going to be exciting. Good times. Good times. Hopefully Daniel doesn't lose his fish and chips on the flight. Oh, boy. Alright, yeah, we're getting above the... There we go. Now it seems like we're finally above the storm. Ta-da! There it is. Yeah, doesn't it though? I mean, you're flying through this bit of a mess. And, you know, it's... you know, of course, if this was a truly... a flight that, you know, we needed to get to Texas Gulf Coast Regional Airport for whatever reasons... You know, we're definitely doing something, you know, like, unless it's really, like, we're talking hurricane weather or whatever, you know, super high winds, you know, that would be the only reason to cancel the flight, I think, but, you know, it would certainly be a bumpy takeoff and getting above the clouds and all that, so, looks like we're tracking nicely. It feels like we're just a bit off, but I think that's just due to the wind probably pushing us a little bit to the left, but hopefully the nav system will take that into account and will correct as needed along the way. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, Dreamliner took off, no issues, got everything laid in. The only thing that I'm having a bit of trouble with, ooh, that was a nice lightning strike, is, you know, looking at the information, like we have, you know, they have a system like this, something similar, but it's always on the co-pilot side. So I'm kind of having to monitor, I'm looking to make sure we're on our correct path and all that. But otherwise, it's flying actually really well. So maybe tomorrow. I'm going to try tomorrow. We'll either finish up that flight or we'll take off again from San Francisco and head towards Seattle. We're going to try that flight tomorrow just to see if the systems are better than we don't have any failures like we did in the A320. So we'll see how that works out. But it's a nice early morning flight. The sun should be coming up probably as we're en route to Seattle. So it'll be a nice flight, I think. But we'll try that tomorrow for our second stream of the day. Ooh, look at that. I think this is kind of interesting to pick this and get some interesting weather to fly through. Yeah, I can't, because it's always easy to fly with the weather all nice and sunny. Ooh, look at that! That was right below us. That was awesome. Well, at least we're above that, so we don't have to worry too much about it. So yeah, I want to start kind of changing things up and not always have pleasant weather to fly through. Whatever the weather is, it is. Lightning strike over there. I hear the thunder now. Alright, so we should track to the right a little bit. So that's our point there coming up. So we'll track right here in a moment. Yeah, doesn't it, Vic? I mean, I think it's easy to be worried about flying with the live weather, but you got to get as somebody's always told me, get out of your comfort zone, and so that's what we're going to do. Today we're out of our comfort zone. We can't see the ground below us, so we can't pick anything out. The only thing we can pick out is coming up here. So we will be kind of skirting along the Gulf of Mexico, the coastline of Texas here pretty soon. I think we will fly over Galveston, Texas. So we should be tracking here in a moment to the right. We should make that right turn. We're almost at our cruising altitude of 8,000 feet. We should start to level off and pick up some speed as we turn towards Texas Gulf Coast Regional. Maybe the thunderstorms will help put Daniel to sleep, or maybe he's got to go to work. I don't know. Between my soothing voice of the thunder and lightning. Ooh, there's one behind us. Ooh, one below us. Oh, hopefully this, I'm guessing, can anybody hear the thunder? Can you hear the rumble of the thunder on the stream? Let me know. I'm just curious. All right. We are tracking nicely now. On our way to our next waypoint. I'm watching F1 qualifying. I don't know. I was so hopeful for this season, but I think Red Bull had basically thrown it away. I was really hoping to see somebody different, but I think Lewis is going to do it again, which I get it. Records are meant to be broken, but him as a world champion, his demeanor on and off the track is not, to me, championship quality. I'm just going to say it. I mean, nothing against him personally, whatever, but he's rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I was happy when he won his first world championship. I thought he was going to be a good base for the sport, but I think he's trashed it more than he's done to promote it, especially when he doesn't win. That's a whole nother. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Nick. I wasn't sure if it's coming through or not. I mean, I can hear it obviously in my headphones, but that's good. So it adds a little bit of drama to the flights, hearing the thunderstorms like that. Yeah, I was really hoping to see somebody different. I was hoping that Charles would have taken over the leadership role at Ferrari, and I think that's what happened. So yeah, it's.
237 contact Houston Center on 133.8. Good day.
133.8.
133.8 for Cessna 237.
Watch it change.
Houston Center, Cessna 237, 8,000 feet.
Cessna 237, Houston Center, altimeter 29.9 continue to hold as planned.
So our barometric pressure has not changed at all. So they said WOLDE, WLDE is our next one. So we are en route to that one, which is 12. Yeah, Nick, that's the thing. I think when you get a taste of the championship, and then it becomes mine. Obviously you want to win, but his demeanor whenever somebody gives him a little taste of the chin music, as I like to call it, he doesn't like it, but when he does it to other people, it's racing, it's okay, But yeah, not overly enthused, but he's British, and I get a lot of British fans are excited about his dominance of the World Championship. Of course, that all can come tumbling down at some point. It did for Ferrari. It has for Renault. There's a lot of teams that were. Look at Williams, for instance. One of the most storied teams in recent F1 history. Look how far they've fallen. So yeah, it's rather unfortunate, but celebrate it while you can. I of course always have the fond memories of the Schumacher era. He'll always be my world champion, and some people, Lewis will always be their world champion. It's just different eras, different everything, and that's okay. You're allowed to always, there's lots of people who are diehard Senna fans and will always remain so, or Prost fans, or Mansell fans, or the list can go on and on and on and on. But I recognize that he's surpassed Michael in a lot of ways, and records are meant to be broken. And Michael even said a long time ago, there's an interview out there with him where he said that if anybody was going to break it, he thought Lewis would be the one to do it, and he was happy to see Lewis do it. So that's, a lot of people always said Michael was very unsportsmanlike, very brash, and blah, blah, blah. But I think that showed his true character. that he recognized that, you know, it took a long time for somebody to equal Fangio's records, and Michael did it, surpassed Senna's records, and now, you know, Hamilton's done more than all of them in a lot of ways. So I recognize that one. I don't recognize his smarmy attitude, you know, otherwise. That part I don't particularly care for. Gotten too close. Yeah, that's, you're right about that. Exactly. It has, unfortunately, I think, a lot of the time comes where it's gotten a bit too political. You know, I prefer politics to stay out of sports, you know, as much as possible. I get that people have their opinions about things, and they have those rights to it. But yeah, when politics enters sports, it is, I think, invariably what you're going to do is you're going to drive people away from the sport. They're not going to want to watch. They don't want to hear.
Cessna 237, contact Houston Center on 133.4. Good day. 133.
Oh, there's a little break in the clouds. You see the coastline there.
Houston Center, Cessna 237, 8,000 feet.
Cessna 237, Houston Center, altimeter 29.93. Continue to hold at as planned.
No change in our barrow, so that's good. Well, and the other thing too, we talked about this the other day, is that I don't like the idea, this notion of cost-cutting measures, because even when you try to make the sport more affordable, it's not always the case. You know, a lot of teams still have struggled to maintain enough money coming in. You know, because you have sponsors who have their expectations, and if you're not meeting those expectations, it's going to get ugly. You know, so you know, I think Haas is, you know, on the brink at some point. If they don't start having some kind of results, Haas is going to be gone, which is unfortunate because a lot of people wanted an American team at F1. Yeah, I agree. There's always banter. You're right. There's always a bit of the trash talking and whatnot. But I look at when I watched, you know, when they talk about Formula One in the 70s and the 60s and how really truly dangerous it was, and all the drivers for the most part were all very friendly with each other. They traveled together. You know, if they had their differences, they dealt with it. You know, sometimes on camera, you know, punches were thrown, sometimes off camera. But, you know, if somebody was driving erratically and becoming a danger, yeah, they were going to be called out for that. But it is a much different time. You know, like Jackie Stewart, who became a huge ambassador for safety in the sport well before Senna's accident. A lot of people trashed him because they thought that he was trying to take away the reason why people watch motorsports. They want to see the accidents. They want to see the, you know, the human drama, as long as nobody got injured. And unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives because people wanted to see that excitement. There's something sexy about danger, kind of like what James, you know, in Rush, you know, you're on the close to the edge of death, and people find that very attractive. You know, that somebody's willing to put their life at risk like that. Yeah, it's a very, but it is a different time. You know, there's still been accidents, there's still been serious injuries, and we've made modifications to the cars to the point that they're just, you know, it's almost interchangeable. The only thing that may change is the front wing, but the body design overall is pretty much all the same. You just change the front wing and throw on a different coat of paint. You have a Ferrari or the Alpine car or whatever, you know. So I don't know. And I'm a little bit, you know, the WEC. I want to see the hypercar class grow. I want to see more competition. You know, I know Toyota won; it was theirs to lose, basically. Mike Conway finally got a victory that he should have had, I think, a few years ago with the 050, and he got screwed over because Alonso was being a little petulant child in the pits and thought that he should get a second win, and so Toyota screwed over the other car. I think, you know, all things aside, I think Toyota's acted dishonorably in their return to motorsports. You know, especially when Alonso came aboard. Now he's back in F1, so I don't think he's not gonna return to. He got what he wanted. He wanted those wins to add to his supposedly awesome career, which I don't think has been nearly as awesome as it's been made out to be. You know. But anyway, I think I'm going to end up losing. I had 3 viewers, but well, hopefully, anyway, I don't want to banter too much because it's usually somebody's a diehard this fan or this person fan. You know, people tend to get a little. I know I can get heated about it. I don't. I've got my opinions about Alonso, but anyway. So yeah, looks like we're kind of coming out of the storm, although it's still off the coast here. This huge storm system. But we got a little break, so we get to see a little bit of the Texas coastline here along the Gulf of Mexico. Seafood Warehouse Park. Now I wouldn't mind landing there and picking up some seafood along the way. Maybe get some fish and chips for more. Get some American fish for Daniel. Ship it off to him. We'll fly it to Gulf Coast Regional and then set it up to Houston, and it could go on a long flight over there to the UK. Yeah, it looks like it is, Nick. But it's hard to say because it might get ugly as we get closer to the airport again. We've got a little break in the weather, though, so we can at least see a little bit below us. Still get the lightning. Oh, that's a much larger, higher system behind us, it looks like. It looks like there's a 2-layer sort of weather system. We've got the lower stuff, and back behind us looks like a much higher, probably more turbulent air up there. Oof. I would not want to be flying through that. I thought Amelo would be here for sure. But Amelo will come just as we're in for a landing. It could be, too, that some people might have come in expecting another Airbus service and see that we're flying this little prop plane, and so they're gonna kick loose. Seafood Warehouse Park. Interesting. So tomorrow's Train Sim World 2, we will do we'll stay with kind of a German theme. We'll go to Wurzig Nord, do a service there. We'll try a passenger service and maybe an S-Bahn or something. See how that goes. And yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll see about if we can pick up the saved Dreamliner flight, finish up that flight to Seattle. Alright, so picking up, that's our next waypoint, Bolos. So I think pretty soon we should start getting to our next one, should be Delve, D-E-L-V-E, I think. And so then I think we should start seeing our reductions in altitude coming up at some point. I think Daniel finally, he was like, oh, this is too much banter. Right?
For contact Houston Center on 133.8. Good day. .8 for FlexJet, flight 34.
Alright. VUH is our next one. Okay. We're not quite at our... I think after VUH is when we should start seeing our reductions in altitude. And start preparing for our landing at Texas Regional. Ooh, some thunder off the coast there. I would hate to be out on the water right now. That the Gulf must be just a mess right now. Probably waves way too high that I'd be seasick for sure. Quite quiet though. I'm surprised. I figured we would have had a few more people in today, but that's okay. It is what it is. I even told some of my clanmates on Division 2 that I'd be streaming, and I thought maybe a couple of them would show up on Twitch maybe, but that's all right. Shoals International at Galveston. Okay, so we are gonna... I saw there... Okay, so we are gonna kind of go over that airport coming up. It's on that landmass right there. So we will fly, and then we should start seeing our after we pass Galveston Airport, the international airport. Shoals International at Galveston. Yeah. So as soon as we get over that, I don't know where Miller. Oh, there's Daniel. He's back. He's lurking, I guess. Probably relaxing after his fish and chips lunch. Bella might be... I don't think Joe's streaming right now. I didn't get a notification that Joe's streaming, so... Because I know if that was the case, you would be pulling double duty. You'd be here and there, Daniel. Keep an eye on the silly questions and the silly people. Bella might have gone back to sleep, or... I don't know. Although, Bella said... Got 8 hours, so I go back to sleep after 8 hours. That's not very healthy, I don't think. Unless you're really sick. So. Well, I find I think most people, they're here for the most part, they like to see the takeoff and the landing. They're not really interested in all the stuff in between. If they can just, I take off and then they go and kind of have me on in the background, and then they come back and like, oh, okay, he's coming in for approach, so I better go watch this to see if I screw this up. Be doing the screen. Oh, that's right. Yes, that is correct. Your donation stream. That's right. I do recall that. Yeah. Your super chat donation. And I see Richard did Joe's belated birthday TSW stream. If we could sort the A320, we can show that again. Yeah, but I think we'll try the Dreamliner and see how we fare with that. If we have the same sort of issues on approach that we have with the A320, then it's a simulator wide problem, not as just specific to the A320. So it's a bit of a test to see what, if we can kind of figure out what's what. What's causing what. So, but yeah, I'd like to get the A320 sorted because I do like to fly. I would like to fly it again. Like the takeoff, we didn't have any real major issues. Although yesterday I was tinkering around. I took off from LAX. I think I followed the very similar, the flight path and everything. But it told me to cruise up to 10,000 feet. But after takeoff, I was making my way. I was navigating just fine, or the autopilot was. It says go to 8,000 feet. But I'm like, well, but if I was told to take off at 10,000 feet, because we were kind of in low mountains, like we were heading towards Santa Barbara again, and I'm like, 8,000 is a little too suspect. I wasn't too comfortable with that. So, ooh, wow, look at that lightning strike right near the plane. Did you see that? That was fantastic. That would have been a good picture if I could have captured that at the right moment. So yeah, it became an issue of, I'm like, well, but I was told 10,000 feet, but then it started fussing with me. It was like it was expecting me to come back to LAX or something. So I don't know what's going on, to be honest. It's a bit weird. Alright, so we should start hearing our... So VUH is coming up there. We're going to track slightly inland, but we should start hearing a reduction in altitude here pretty soon. I think. That's a lot of altitude to lose between here and there. So there's Delva. Yeah, that one was really close. That was a bit of a... I mean, it was like right around the plane almost. I have to watch that on the replay. Boy, if nobody's watching this, they're really missing out on some interesting... Ooh, there was one off the back there. Wow, that was a good zap. I think that marker, it says Galveston's out there. I think Galveston's more inland. We got a little bit of a break in the weather here and there. But it's probably going to get very bumpy as we get in here to the airport. As soon as we start dropping in altitude, I think we're going to pick up a bit more wind. So we're going to have to, it's going to be a very touchy sort of that was right outside the window there. It was a very bright flash. Alright, so just kind of looking ahead there on the display. It's hard to zoom in over there to show you. But that's our next point. There we go. Alright. Got it.
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet, Cessna 237.
Alright, folks. It's time to get ready. Ah, come on. Make me look foolish again. I'm going to put the approach mode because I think that'll help us lose some altitude.
Please expedite your descent. 2,000 feet.
Yeah. Negative 500, 6, 7, 8. All right. I think we'll be okay. Matter of fact, let's just go a little bit steeper. Trying to bleed off that altitude a little bit quicker. Alright folks, we are starting to make our descent into Texas Gulf Coast Regional. We know you have different virtual pilots to take you to your destination. We appreciate you flying with us today.
4.45 Cessna 237. Houston approach Cessna 237 is passing 5,400 feet, descending 2,000 feet.
Cessna 237, Houston approach altimeter 29.904. Continue to delve as planned.
994. If you appreciate your virtual flight crew, please do leave a thumbs up and please do subscribe. We try to do Microsoft Flight Simulator daily. Try to have some fun, have a good laugh. Try not to take things too seriously. Passengers, please prepare yourself for landing. That was right off. Ooh, that was right there somewhere. I better get a swig of water so I can talk more silliness on the way in. My throat's getting a little dry here. All right. Oh boy, Mick. Oh no. Looks like we're back in the thick of it. Enjoy the greenery. Enjoy the blue skies while you can. Everybody buckle up extra tight. Alright, let's zoom back in here just a bit. So, there it is. Alright, there we go. Your laughed outdoors makes me nervous. Oh, Mick, nothing to be nervous about. It's just a simulator. But we are going to be back in the thick of it any moment now. Look at that. Oh, this is going to be interesting. We're finally right about our required altitude. We won't get any more calls from ATC. Let's get that there so we can kind of see as we come around. Back inland a little bit now. The Gulf Coast is off to the left there. So we're back in the rain, it looks like. We're going to have some thunder, lightning flashes here. Ooh, there's one. That's about 3 miles off the left side there.
Cessna 237, you are 13 miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway treat 5 approach by a mellow transition. Cleared to mellow.
They call it mellow yellow.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway tree 5 approach via mellow transition. Cleared to mellow Cessna 237.
Amen. We are cleared to mellow. We are cleared to get mellow. Everybody prepare to be mellow. So we're going to track left here coming up. We got a little bit to go still to delve. We should start kind of turning here in a moment. There we go. So it had a nice little gentle turn there for a second, and then it would get a little bit more angle there. I have to kind of steer back on track, but that's okay. Guessing if I look outside right now. Oh, look at that. That is just, that's fantastic. Maybe we'll get a rainbow at some point too. Alright, so we're tracking there. There's our destination there. So that should be mellow right there in front of us. I'm glad we got a happy captain in this sort of weather. Well, it's either that or you fly pissed off, and that's not probably a very good way to fly either. As a passenger, that's how I prefer to fly, because then I don't think about getting sick because of the bumpy weather. I've learned that might be the best course of action. Ooh, there's a bit of a rainbow up there. Right there, look at that. Well, it looks like we've got a bit of a storm system here that we're going to be flying into. But then it looks like our approach might be actually halfway decent, weather-wise. Oh, there's another rainbow right there. Look at that. That's 2 rainbows. Uh-oh. That means it's going to be a good landing, I think. That's pretty fantastic that they're able to show that, you know, because the sun gleaming off the rain, we get a little bit of a rainbow there. That's pretty awesome. The low sun. Ooh, look at that lightning strike. Wow. Wowee, that was amazing. Oh, look. Oh, a double rainbow. Look at that. Check that out. Quick, get the camera. I don't know that it would show up very well. So yep, we're in this storm here now, in this part of the weather system. We should be tracking back shortly towards our destination. We'll put on the approach mode and start getting our speeds dropped. Although we're at a pretty good speed now, I think we're, you know, but once we're lined up, we'll start making sure we're reduced enough for our landing. Ooh, I like the name Oyster Creek. Interesting place sounding. There's another double. Look at that. I have to say, that's pretty impressive graphics to have something like that in a game of any kind, especially one that's moving like this, and there's a lot of layers to it, I think, that lots of people don't always appreciate. Shot right out there. The stream seems just a bit behind. Make sure I'm watching the wow. Alright, let's just zoom out just a tad here. Oh, let's zoom in. Okay. That's our next track right there coming up. Track to the right, so that's Mellow right there that we're approaching to. Still hovering around this bit of a weather system. It's moved in from the Gulf of Mexico. Hello, Amela. See, I called it right. I said Amela was going to show up right as we were getting ready to land. I wasn't too far off from that prediction. Now I wonder if Daniel's still here. Ooh, look at that light. That was very close. All right. So, it's like I'm hearing the rain hit the windshield. I don't think we have any wipers on this windshield. Doesn't look like it. Somebody reach out and wipe off the front of the windshield. Just open the window, it's okay. Was a good choice, I think. Kind of added some spice to everything. Okay, so approach mode is still crap. Oh no, it's doing. Okay. I thought I'd made that happen. All right. What was I looking for? Approach mode. We got to get that off. We're not lined up just yet. So mellow to Ackle. You crazy not with that? Oh, come on, Mick. It's just a little... Oh, crap. I might have... Oh, I think I turned... No, it missed its... It missed the thing. Because of approach. I think because I took it off, it alright, so it's going to track back around. That's okay. Well, actually, let's put approach mode back on. Yes. We just flew around in a circle. Alright, we should come back straight. There we go. Alright. That was probably my mistake of doing that. It caused the plane to have a little bit of a fit, but okay, it's all sorted now. So we're doing our nav approach. We will get some kind of a lineup, but it'll be, we won't get the same lineup as we would with the ILS approach. Once we hit this next track here to the left, to the right again, we'll start putting our flaps down and reducing our speed further. It's just a little lightning, like it's okay. Just reach out there. Just swipe the windshield real quick with a rag. It's all good. You know, if you get a little zap of lightning and, you know, it's all good. Ooh, look at that. That was a nice shot across the front there. Across the bow. They shot across the bow there. We're going to get all nautical now.
Cessna 237, you were 12 miles south of Kilo Lima Bravo X-ray.
Yep, I'm aware of that.
Cessna 237. Kilo Lima Bravo X-ray traffic Cessna 237 12 miles south inbound RNAV runway 35.
All right, now it's
Lima
getting all
Bravo
official
X-ray
sounding
traffic
and stuff.
Cessna 237 is on final runway 35 to land.
Wow, that sounded all official and stuff. All right. Any moment now, we are going to track back to the right again, which means we will take up a almost northerly heading. Yep, says we're going to 357. There we go. A little bit of a turn. Come off a little bit. Back on. There it is. Nice, beautiful turn there. Okay. And there it is. We have to correct back just a little bit to the left. Yep, there we go. We don't have our glide path just yet, but we're going to start reducing our speed here. Get a little bit of flaps down. Start slowing down here in preparation. You are a medic, right? You do know the dangers. Well, you know, here's the thing that I learned a long time ago, is that there's always dangers. If you assess the risk of the situation and you say, I can do something reasonably within the parameters of what's going on, right? That's the key. And a lot of people, I think, forget that. You know, a lot of decisions I made later on in the military weren't, you know, I probably broke a lot of rules that I probably shouldn't have, but I learned that, you know, you assess the situation, you assess the risk, and if you think, okay, I can do this and I can do, you know, I can do it safely, then I think it's worth doing. But, you know, of course, there's such things as you don't want to do things that are so obviously dangerous that they become life-threatening, because that's not a good way to live your life either. But yeah, if you know the risks and you're willing to accept them, you know, like when the injured KBR contractor that I worked on, after there was an IED exploded, I weighed the risks, and the logical solution was I would move from one vehicle to the other, and so everything was timed. I asked the drivers and the truck commanders, let's time the lowering of the ramps at the same time. I'll zip out and zip right over into the back of the other one, so that way the patient doesn't have to move. So it's, you know, I've always learned that it's a bit of, you manage the risks that you take, and if you can, and you come out on the other side of it all for the better, then so be it. Alright, we got a glide path, it's just not showing up. Should get the red sort of markers there to kind of show our glide path, but we're starting to lose our altitude here, making our approaches. So, all right, it hasn't been too bad of a flight otherwise, even with the weather. We've done pretty good. I do appreciate everybody hanging out here today. Quite the experience. May have a few more, we'll hear more lightning and thunder behind us, or hear more thunder. We may not always see the lightning strikes, but definitely hear it. Alright, it's kind of lining us up. There it is. There's our glide path approach there. Get our last bit of flaps down here so we completely slow down to a safe landing speed. So it appears that we are lined up. So we are prepared to fire our autopilot when necessary. Alright, it's tracking. It's picked up the RNAV, that's a good thing. We're ready to fire clearance. Once clearance gets us as close to the end of the runway as possible. Alright, let's fire clearance. We got this. Thank you for your service, Clarence. See you next time.
Stall.
Well, there we are, folks. Currently squeezing Nick's hand. Oh, you two. I swear. No confidence. No confidence at all. We flew through a pretty crazy weather system. Landed the plane without incident. Man, I don't know about you guys. Very long runway, that's for sure. We're going to turn off here. Let's see if we can pick up the request for taxi to parking. Oh, there is not a tower here. Okay. Well, that's interesting. We can't even get... Alright, let's do this then. We're just going to go up that way and find a parking spot. Bella just likes holding my hand. Oh boy, maybe Bella's nervous. I don't know. Well, that wasn't too bad actually. All told, we didn't have any major problems per se. It all worked out very well in the long run. Even despite the weather, you know, that's the best part. We flew through this crazy weather and we didn't have any significant issues because of that. Now, it could very well be that, ooh, wow, we are just zipping along here. Got some speed there. Nice line again. The buffet bar is open. Milla has to wait in the plane until everyone has food on their plate. I like that, Mick. That sounds good. That sounds good. It looks like there's a crew over there possibly waiting for us, so we will make our way there. Don't want to end the flight on the runway. That's not very safe. Now, it could very well be that this airport isn't open for normal business on the weekends. Those people probably have their own private plane and parking space and hangar space or whatever. Yep, they're waiting on us, looks like. At least somebody's here for us. As long as it's not the authorities. I think this is a good stopping point. Let's go to our checklist and do our shutdown. And that should end that. Wow, that was a nice... There we are. If you end the flight on the runway, you'll be told off for runway excursion. Yeah, probably so. Well, there we are. That wasn't bad at all. That was a good flight, I think. Even with the weather, it kind of added a bit of fun to it, I think. So, all right. That should be it. Let's see where we're at on our flight hours. I think we're at 45-ish. Let's have a look at our profile. Yep, 45. So 5 more hours and we hit the magic 50. All right. So anyway, yeah, tomorrow we'll try. Now let's see if I go world map. If I go more. Nope. Load save. Just out of curiosity, I don't want to mess it up. Let's just leave it alone. I don't want a chance that if I load it up that it's going to cause an issue. But anyway, that's going to be it for today, folks. I will see you on Rear Signor tomorrow morning, usual time. We'll have some fun with that. And then we'll be hopefully finishing up the flight in the Dreamliner that I started. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I will see you tomorrow.